Hi, I'm Matt Walsh, and you're watching PA Live.
What's Bruin is presented by Crown Trophy of Little Rock, nationally known, locally owned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's Bruin. I'm Joshua Carroll, joined by Coach Kevin Kelley. We've wrapped up this past week with a game that actually went a little bit easier than I thought it would be. It was a pretty good game, I thought.
Yeah, us coming in 3-2 at the time, and they're 5-0, and they've got a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence, and some really, really talented players. And you need to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and they had the guys to do that. So I was really proud of our guys and the way they fought.
You know, like you said, they came in 5-0, and so it was because of that we kind of expected that they were, like you had mentioned last week, that they were coming in maybe seeing PA as a little bit vulnerable and looking to capitalize on that and continue that, keep that undefeated season going, but they weren't able to, obviously. Big rushing job done by Joe Hyman. He's been really tearing it up all year this year, but you really have to kind of give it up to him. I was interesting looking at the stat sheet this morning that the second in rushing was Braden Woods.
Right.
And so those two together, they seem to be having a good rhythm together.
Yeah, and Braden gets a lot of his when the play breaks down in a passing game, and guys have dropped into coverage and those kinds of things, and he's really, really good in the open field and is able to make teams pay for that. And then Joe's done a really nice job in the running area, the rushing department, but he's done a nice job in the passing area too. And when we couldn't get him loose inside, we've thrown the ball outside, and he's done a better job. That's the one thing I had a question mark when he came in, was whether he could catch the ball very well or not. He really worked on that. He's the kind of kid that works hard. And then I really think Isaiah Woods did a good job last week too. Joe's a guy that's going to elude you. And Isaiah, when they get used to being on their heels a little bit and give the ball to him, I thought he did a nice job of running hard and running through people. So with Braden and Joe and Isaiah all playing well, we're really tough to stop on offense.
Well, and you say run over people. That's exactly what Woods does. I would not want to see him barreling at me. And, it's interesting to see. I don't know of many other teams that you actually see give a good push in the back to after the handoff. Is that common and I just miss it?
I don't think that's common. I think I saw Lane do it a couple years ago, and then I don't know. I think maybe Braden's watched him do it and got in the habit of doing it, and now I see Nolan and Charlie do it a little bit too. So it's just something I don't know if it helps them. I know that Braden last year actually tripped and shoved Isaiah down a couple times, or maybe it was Mason Cobb. A little too hard with the shove and foot in the way, but it is funny. I still see that on film, and it doesn't seem to bother the backs any, so we don't.
So that's not anything that you planned. It just
no. But that's Braden doing that on his own.
Okay. Well, in the second half, we saw Nolan Bruffett. We saw Charlie Pfizer out there for a short time, but then they came out. Where did the defense just have their rhythm just down, or did they were they just not ready for that type of scenario just yet?
Well, we looked hard at our defense, and we know we've got to get better in all areas. And we looked at our defense and saw, when have we been successful and when have we been unsuccessful? We're more successful when we blitz a lot, bring a lot of pressure, whether it's a run or a pass, and have more people at the line of scrimmage and don't play safe. And we decided to attack and be more aggressive this week. And you can either stop them at the point of attack, or if guys like them get loose, it's tough to tackle in the open field. So we decided to do that route, and I thought our coordinators called a great game, and I thought our players bought into what we were doing and attacked and had the gang mentality. We've been looking and seeing not a lot of assisted tackles, a lot of one-on-one stuff, and I think that's one of the hardest things to do in football. So we didn't want that. We wanted to get 3 and 4 guys there at the same time and make it easier to tackle guys and not let them get loose after that first one. And they did that, and really it shut Maumelle down early. So and then our guys got a lot of confidence, and the first half went just like we'd wanted it to.
Well, and as opposed to the week before, there's really nothing to say about the officiating crew this time. It looked to me like they did an excellent job. They called a good game. They called a fair game. So that was, at least we were just playing against the one team this week, it felt like anyway.
Yeah. And that's what, coming in, those guys kind of knew we had some mishaps last week, and they just wanted to call a good game. And one of the things they had said something about is, the best officiating is when you don't know they're there. So,
right.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, there are times you have to make calls and people have to know you're there. But if the game's going smoothly, just let the game flow. And I thought they did a really nice job.
Looking back over the weekend, I was looking at the, speaking of officiating, I don't know if you had a chance to catch the Texas-Oklahoma game.
I caught a lot of it.
I thought it was interesting, the very beginning of that game. There was, there's, of course, a long history there. They're big rivals. And then right at the very beginning, they called unsportsmanlike conduct against
everybody.
Every member on both teams.
Yeah,
It's interesting that they did it that way, just because that way, if there's anybody else that has an unsportsmanlike attitude during the entire game, they're automatically ejected. What were your thoughts on that?
I get it. You want to get control, especially in a heated rivalry like that. But to put one on everybody, calling unsportsmanlike is very subjective anyway. So let's say later, you get in the third quarter, a meaningful part of the game, and you do the old, like every coach tells their kid, they always catch the second guy. Let's say the first guy does something and the second guy doesn't even think and reacts too, and he's going to get tossed too because everybody's already got one. Then you wonder if it's the right thing to do. So I get both sides. You definitely want to have control of the game, and that's a way in your head to control it, is to let everybody know, hey, you've all got one, the next one and you're out by rule. But it's so subjective that it's tough to if the rule is they get two, just to give them one before the game's ever started. Some people could make the argument that you can't give them a penalty until the game starts. Because let's say the home team is wearing dark and they decide to wear white. That is a penalty. But you can't give it to them until the game starts.
Right.
So, to me, I think somebody could fight that a little bit and go, I don't think you can give a penalty until the game starts.
Sure.
And if that's the case, then they couldn't. But I see both sides of it. It was interesting, though.
It was obviously effective because as both teams came out of the tunnel together, they were right there shoulder to shoulder, and there were no more incidents the rest of the game. So,
well, the penalty probably should be on the dummies that had them coming out on the same end.
Right.
I mean, could we at least segment it and go, okay, one team's the visitor, you're always coming out 5 minutes early or
right.
whatever to make sure that doesn't happen. Because, you have 18 to 22-year-old kids, lots of testosterone. Right. They're billed all week by their coaches as going against each other, and we're going to battle and we're going to war, and there's going to be some emotion and some hostility there towards the other one. So to have them all come out at the same time and think, oh, this is a good idea,
right,
is a little crazy to me.
Well, Coach, before we talk about next week, let's make sure to acknowledge our sponsor, Crown Trophy of Little Rock. Visit crowntrophy.com and select your location of Little Rock. They have everything that you might need to show some appreciation for your employees or your athletes or your team members, your teammates, just anything you might need, not just trophies. They have drinkware. They can customize nice shirts for you. They have loads of different things to check out. You can visit them online and just browse their entire catalog. Again, that's crowntrophy.com and select the location of Little Rock, and they'll hook you up.
Jenny's awesome, and she's always done anything and everything I've asked in a timely fashion. So I don't know what more you could ask for.
You couldn't. Thanks again to Crown Trophy of Little Rock for sponsoring What's Bruin. Well, Coach, this week we'll be hosting once again, this time the Beebe Badgers. And traditionally they've had a pretty strong program. This year they've really struggled. So it'll be interesting seeing them come in here to Joe Hatcher Stadium this week.
They've had a coach a long time that ran a particular style of offense. It was a ground and pound, no passing. I mean, they'd pass 3 to 4 times a game, and they've switched coaches, and now they're a spread attack, and they do some running, but they're trying to throw it around and really having some trouble adjusting to that new style. I think they'll be fine in a couple years, but right now they're struggling a little bit. But everybody seems to garner their attention and focus when it comes time to beat PA. They've never beaten us, and I don't think so. I think that's definitely going to be high on their radar. So we'll get their best shot, and I am glad to be back at home for another week, and it's nice to have this before going back on the road. So, and I know our kids love playing at home. So that, and hopefully this week, we got to a couple weeks ago, we got to put in a couple seniors to let them have their play. Wilson Miller and J.P. Cady both got touchdowns, and they're both defensive linemen. So hopefully this week, throughout the rest of the year, we'll have a couple plays here and there where seniors that don't normally touch the ball get to touch the ball. So that'll be something to look forward to too. And then Friday night's also Pink Out. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our guys will be wearing pink uniforms. I know Palm and Shear has something scheduled too, and we'll be trying to raise some money for breast cancer awareness.
And I saw a couple of the officials last week were wearing pink socks, and they were using the pink penalty flags. So it's good to get that awareness out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Always exciting to see the Bruins run out there in pink.
Yeah, and and what I'll take one day this week after practice and talk to the guys about how it affects people. And what I mean is I was reading a stat the other day that everybody knows somebody that's been affected by breast cancer. And so with it being that prevalent, it's all fun to wear the pink, and I like the way they've brought that in and stuff. I don't want us to forget what it's for.
Right.
And that, somewhere in your life it'll affect somebody and we need to do all we can to prevent and treat.
Well, Coach, that's all I've got for this week. So make sure to come out this week and support the Bruins. Wear your pink if you have it. If you don't, visit the Den right here on campus. They can hook you up. In the meantime, come out and support the Bruins. If you can't be there, join us live at pabruins.tv. We'll have all the action. Of course, Pete Biagioni will be filling in as a guest commentator I'll be out this week. But make sure to listen in. And if you're able to come
now,
to the
are you
game,
going to be watching on the other side of the world?
You know I will.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it'll be 7 a.m. on Saturday where I am. And but I'll be watching every minute of the game.
That's almost directly on the other side of the world.
It is.
Yeah,
it's 12-hour difference.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. But make sure to give them your thoughts on the game through our text line and really support those guys. And I'll be there watching along with you this time. So it'll be fun for me.
Yeah,
to take the week off.
That's awesome.
Actually sit back and enjoy a game.
Yeah, have a good week and enjoy it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us on What's Bruin, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Coach. We'll see you next week. I'm Josh Carroll. This has been What's Bruin.